This video is made for an adult audience. Hey big fans, welcome back to the Big Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob, and today it's time to work on a supermarket for my Lego city. In my last video, I finished the first raised section of my Lego city. Today, I'm continuing work on raised sections, but I'm starting a new one with a supermarket in it. So, without further ado, let's get to building. The second raised section is starting off here with these three base plates. It's my plan to have the train running down back here, all the way down and come out here. So it's actually going to come out of what is essentially the front of the raised section, just to mix things up a bit. The first thing I'm going to do is to mark out where the train tracks are going to be, so I have something to work from. I've marked out where the train track is gonna go, and now I've got to start sort of laying out the front here, which is gonna be the same basic design as the other raised section, but with shorter intervals. Now I have an idea of a supermarket or something that takes up all the arches, where in the other raised section it was actually individual small shops, but because of the arches size, I think it would be more convenient with one big shop, because those shops are going to be very, very small, as I'm using, I think, 1x8 arches. That's 9 arches, and then something has to happen here with a bigger arch or something like that. I'm gonna look into that. Maybe I have an idea of ending the other raised section, you can see it just there in the background, with a mountain or such. Maybe I should do something like that here. That could be interesting, and would be interesting to extend that out on the next base plate, so to have sort of a depth to it as well. I'm gonna think about that, but initially these 9 arches I'm gonna raise up by this much. This is the ticker stick that decides or is actually equal to the height of the other raised section. Here we go, that is the arches done. Now, I had to dig quite deep in my collection of white bricks to find some that was actually the same color. Different generations of different whites do have a slightly different look to them. So it's not the same color all the way through, but it's close enough for me. It's my idea to use some of these big window panes and have them sitting in here in some way, and have one of these arches be a doorway inside, and then maybe have some letters here that says market or something like that, so it's very obvious that it's a supermarket. I'm not completely sure how to do those letters yet, but I'll think of something. A building this size will of course require an interior, I think. The other smaller shops, that wasn't so important because it's not as visible, but this is going to be very visible, I think. So some kind of interior I'll have to do, but yeah, for now it's the front and these big window panes that it's all about. It's my idea to use 3 colors in a striped pattern down here, and then have the window on top of that, and then continue the striped pattern for a brick or 2, and then have some kind of, I don't know, surface that can actually contain the letters I'm thinking of using. I'm thinking this could be B Mart, like Kmart or something, but B as in Bakersville. Not completely sure how I could design an M, but I'll look into that. Yeah. This is the color scheme I'm working with at this point. It's kind of, I think, 60s or 70s inspired with the brown and the orange and all that. and the red sort of accentuating everything. I've added in some transparent bricks here, which I think lends a rather neat look. Now I am starting to think, both because I'm not sure I have enough bricks, especially of these, that maybe this shouldn't take up all of it, all of the spots that's here. Maybe I could do something else, or at least have some kind of brick wall as well, so it's not just supermarket everywhere. But I do think I can stretch this for 5 or 6 openings, and that would fit with the B Mart, wouldn't it? 5 B M-A-R-T would be 5. So if I had 5, depending on whether or not I want a hyphen or a dash between the B and the Mart, it can actually be just that. But I'm going to continue this and maybe develop it a bit more, try to see where it can go, and also try to figure out what should be here up top beside the letter, what kind of wall should actually be there. I'm thinking that I'll continue this pattern all the way down here. So I have 6 of these window things. Are these window things? What do you call them? Arches, arch spots, whatever you call them. 6 of those in these 3 colors with some masonry bricks mixed in just for some detailing. Now I am thinking that I want to add letters B-M-A-R-T as in Walmart or Quickie Mart or some other mart. One thing I would like to point out is this orange color here. I don't know how much this shows up on camera, but this one right here is definitely a different shade of orange, even though it is meant to be the same. So consistency in colors is an issue with stuff like orange, and it seems brown as well. Well, we just have to roll with that, don't we? I like how this is turning out. These colors work well together, I think. Orange, yellow and brown. That's a good combination, and the accentuating red is pretty good too. I like that. So yeah, this is definitely sort of the idea I'm going for. Any suggestions, of course, is more than welcome, and I really got to figure out those letters, but I don't know, maybe I'll continue work over here on the arches that hasn't been filled in yet, just to give myself some breathing space to think about those letters. I've decided to try to make those letters by using some of these small sloped pieces here as a way to make the more rounded pieces of the letters. So they're going to be hanging in here, and I really hope there's room enough, but we'll have to see. I've worked out how to make a B, a an R and a T, but the M sort of eludes me right now. I've got to think about how to do that, because that M shape, you know, it goes up and then has a small triangle, downward pointed triangle, and then one down again. And that seems pretty difficult to do in a sort of 4 wide framework. One thing I did do, which I think is rather cool, is for the T, these are of course 1x1s, and to have this one sit in the middle, I've used one of these jumper plates here, which has no stud underneath but is blank like this, and that works fine to have your brick right here in the middle. So I think that was rather neat actually, but I've got to figure out that M, and of course there needs to be a hyphen or a dash there. That's my version of an M, and that was actually, it came to me much quicker than I would have expected, but yeah, any comments, ideas for this is of course very welcome. Of course, a small hyphen, that's going to be just 2 plates, 1 tile and a plate on top of each other. But the big thing now is, of course, to mount these on the wall in some shape, way or form. But I think that should be doable. Be Mart. I like it. I've got to admit, I think this looks good. Now, I am keenly aware that sort of the orange and the red seem to melt together, but that is how it's gonna be with this one. I do like it. I like the look. I like the idea. I'm wondering if I should add. I haven't added this canopy all the way because I don't have these, but I do have a lot of regular sloped in red, and I do wonder if I should add those, if that would add an interesting detail. I think I'll try that and we'll see how that works. I think this works very well. It adds a lot of depth to this. Now I'm wondering if there should be any kind of, or any more details down here. I am thinking that once I add some kind of interior, the detail will sort of pop up by having an interior. And I think that'll work fine, but yeah, I've got to think about that. For now, I'll just fill this out with gray bricks, so it'll have that walled look, which is also in my other raised section. So that's what I'll be working on. These grey walls are meant to be visually interesting and maybe have sort of a realistic look to them, so I've mixed a lot of different bricks to give this sort of disorderly look to them, and I like that. It's old walls, a bit mossy, a bit broken down. That's good for me, I think. I'll see if I can finish off the top here. There's going to be a bit of an overhang with a fence on it of some kind, so I can actually place modular buildings up here as is intended. This gives us an idea of how it will look. I'm not sure about these white ones. These are mostly there because I don't have black ones right now. And of course these are 6 wide, which always gives you a bit of a problem when using fence pieces like this. Maybe I should use some 1x1 pins or something instead. I've also changed these down here. These were regular sloped bricks earlier on, but now I've used these more rounded slopes, which I think looks better, and I've also added some pattern by adding yellow. I think this is looking pretty good, and yeah, I'll leave you folks with some glamour shots and be back for a wrap up. That's the B-Mart. I like it. I really like this color scheme, which I stolen from somewhere. I think actually that was a computer game. Wherever it was from, I'm happy to use it. The brown, the yellow, and the orange look great together with the red. I think that works really great. If you have any kind of suggestions, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to hear it. Next time, I think I'll be working on the interior for the supermarket or maybe the edge of the raised section. We'll see. But that is all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you folks next time.